Mr. Speaker, as I rise to make my contribution to the debate on the anti-crime bill's report, I would like to acknowledge the contribution made by the public officers, some of whom are present to these bills. But I would especially like to recognize Dr. Carolyn Gomes and the Jamaicans for Justice. Team who have done a tremendous amount of work on these bills. And Mr. Speaker, while persons like or bodies like Jamaicans for Justice often feel like thorns in our side, they play a critical role in standing up for the rights of Jamaican people. Mr. Speaker, the opposition, since 2007, we have been cooperating in bipartisan policy development in the area of national security. But, Mr. Speaker, one of the requirements in this area, and I'm sorry that the Prime Minister has stepped out, but one of the requirements in the area of cooperation is trust. Mr. Speaker, I am disappointed to say that at a time when the entire country should be engaged in searching for solutions to the crime problem, at a time when we as a responsible opposition scheduled a crime forum in Montego Bay at the Civic Center so that we could engage the public, not a party forum. As opposition spokesman on national security, I invited a number of persons. And I am disappointed this afternoon to learn that the mayor has now said we cannot hold that consultation there because we're a political party. No, Mr. Speaker, that is what I call petty partisanship. That is petty partisanship.
A point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, it's interesting. Shut your mouth, man.
Mr. Warmington, please allow the member to continue. Continue, Mr. Bunting.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the member from West St. Mary has suggested that it is a party function, and I specifically said it was as the opposition spokesman on national security. The opposition has a constitutional position in this government and in our system of governance. And what is interesting, Mr. Speaker, is that one of the very important invitees is the mayor of Montego Bay himself. The mayor of Montego Bay. Now, I hardly think if it was a party function, the Jamaica Labour Party mayor of Montego Bay would have been invited. So I rest my case there, but I just say, Mr. Speaker, if the government would like cooperation, then they cannot at the same time be petty. Mr. Speaker, we share the concern of our citizens to have crime and violence tackled in a meaningful way so we can all enjoy a safe and secure society. However, Mr. Speaker, as a responsible opposition, we have a duty to carefully review and dissect any bills to reveal weaknesses and to anticipate the outcomes of this proposed legislation. We cannot be a mere rubber stamp for the executive.
Hear, hear.
Mr. Speaker, the opposition intends that any legislation passed will really contribute to fighting crime, dismantling criminal organizations, and rooting out criminality wherever it exists. However, at the same time, we must secure the fundamental rights of law-abiding citizens.
That's right. Talk to the Minister, talk.
Mr. Speaker, in my 2009 sectoral debate presentation, I stated that effective crime reduction will only be sustained if it is based on the trust, confidence, and legitimacy of the police force. Political administrations must avoid knee-jerk reactions to periodic upsurges. Mr. Speaker, the last time that these bills were rushed to the House, it was a period of upsurge in crime. We didn't hear anything for over a year. And then suddenly, they were introduced and had to be debated immediately, again, as a sort of public relations exercise to address the upsurge in crime. Mr. Speaker, we have to ensure that these knee-jerk reactions do not reinforce the old image of the police as a paramilitary force of occupation with scant regard for the rights of the majority. There is an argument, Mr. Speaker, that as a society, we must be prepared to trade our values for our security, or our security for our values. We reject that trade-off. As the member from Central Kingston said to me last night, we can be strong anti-crime and also strong pro-human rights.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, crime control efforts must be disciplined by the rule of law, due process, and respect for individual rights and human dignity. The approach is central to our party's democratic values, and we will continue to stand